Kanagdaet sa Diyos sa tanan sa tanang kabuhatan. This afternoon, let us continue on discussing about this topic. What is government? Like what I have told you last time that government refers to the formal structure or organization through which a society is governed and its affairs are managed. So, government is a system or institution responsible for making and enforcing laws, policy, and decisions that guide the functioning of a certain state or a community. On the other hand, yes, political science is another social science discipline, and the state is a political community that involves four important elements, which are the people, territory, sovereignty, and the government. Okay, so again, state is an abstract entity and it is not confined to a specific space or embedded in any particular individual. So, kung ganita, state, it is a political community characterized with people, territory, sovereignty, and the government. Aside from that, okay, so yes, I believe I already discussed this one. So, in simple terms, that this statement say that a state is like a long-lasting and widespread idea. It's not something you can physically touch or tie to specific people, but it endures over time and can extend its influence beyond a particular space. Meanwhile, governance is the exercise of power authority by political leader for the well-being of their country's citizen or subject. So, governance, uh, yes, this refers to the manner of steering, governing, directing, and controlling a certain state or a group of people, organization. So, governance involves decision making, processes, and the implementation of policies to achieve stability, development, and public welfare. As you all know that there is a lot of aspect pag moingon kita governance, so apil na diri ang authority and power. Sana to governance involve the legitimacy of power by government, institution, or leader o sa panadiha. Apil na diri ang decision making, accountability and transparency, the participations, rule of law, effectiveness and efficiency in governance. So, well, we also have the type of governance. So, I believe we have four. The first one is democratic governance. Second one is authoritarian governance. The third one is corporate governance. And the fourth one is global governance. So, when it talks about democratic governance, power is exercised through elected representative, emphasizing citizen participation. So, say for example, here in the Philippines, so we have a democratic governance. The power resides to the people, so we have the power to exercise our right to elect our mga desired mga representative kung kinsa ang mahimong probably barangay captain, mayor, and even the president. Mayong ganitag authoritarian governance, the power is concentrated in one leader or a small group with limit public participation. Ang pinaka-concrete example ani is the North Korea. So, ang naa sila dito is they have authoritarian governance because of power is concentrated only with one leader and uh, few or gamay ra kaayo og public participations. And the third one is corporate governance. What is corporate governance? So, from the word corporate, this refers to how business and organizations are directed and controlled. Okay? Ang global governance, on the other hand, is an international organizations and treaties managing global issues. For example, can the United Nations, World Bank, and so on and so forth. I have here a short descriptions about the government and the governance. Government is the instrument for the purpose of governance, while the governance is the exercise of political, economic, and administrative authority to manage the nation's affairs. On the other hand, the government is the group of people with authority to govern a country or a state. So, the governance is more likely the process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented. Well then, since that the government is an instrument of the state through which the will of the people is expressed, carried out, and formulated, thus the government serves as the bridge that connects the people to the state. The terms state and government are commonly used interchangeably, but in strict political science terms, they definitely have two different meanings. So, governance is the government performance of mandate and function. So, the governance is like how the government does its job. So, government performance of mandate and function is this means that the task and responsibility that the government is supposed to do is subjected to citizen participation, like you and your neighbors can have a say or get involved in how the government works and not just something the government does on its own. Citizen can be part of it. And private sector engagement in public affairs. So, for example, apil na diri ang companies and business can also be involved in how things are run by the government. So, it's not only about the governments. Sometimes private businesses can help or be part of making decisions about public things like roads or schools. So in simple terms, governance is about how the government does its job, and it's something that everyone, citizen, and even business can have a role in. Well, even at the present, the concept of government and governance are often used with confusion to a certain extent. So, as an institution, it is the government which concretize the policies and address the problem of the states. On the other hand, good governance arises when the government involves the people in its agenda and in the process of policy making. So, ang the extent, therefore, to which democratic participations or is encouraged, or democratic governance or democratic participations is encouraged determine whether or not governance exists. So governance may also means how well the government performs its function. Apil na diri ang delivery of basic services. The government should not be left alone in assuring the achievement of human welfare. As you all know, that governance is like a new and improved way of running countries. So it involves teamwork between the government, community groups, and regular people in handling public matters. So, governance is an innovative and ideal product of reforming modern state. So, think of it like a cool and better way of organizing how a country is run. So, it's a result of making improvement to the traditional method. So, it also governance requires the interactions among the government, civic organizations, and citizen. Di ba? Dara palangdaan is a group effort. So, kani sila should work together to take care of things that affect everyone in managing the public arena. So, public arena means everything that involves everyone, like roads, schools, park. So, governance is about all of us working together to make sure these things are well taken care of. So, in simple terms, governance is a better way of running a country where everyone pitches in, the government, community groups, the regular folks, to make sure work well for everyone. In addition, governance has three legs. These include economic governance, political governance, administrative governance. So, when we talk about economic governance, uh, this is like how a country manage its money and business activities, and how it's work with other countries in terms of trade and economic relationships. So it's about making sure the economy runs smoothly. On the other hand, political governance is to formulate policy. So think of this as making decision about the rules and plans for the country. So mahitabo diri is more like political governance create a game plan or strategies of how things should be done. So the political or the politicians and leaders are involved in this to shape the policies that guide the country. Well, so may purpose ni administrative governance. So kaning after the game plan is set or thanks to political governance, unsa ba giset dito katuning mga policies. So, kasi gibuhat the governance, administrative governance, they are actually putting the plan into action. So, administrative governance is the system for making sure that the policies are carried out effectively. And this involve government agencies, officials, implementing the rules and decision made at the political level. So in simple terms, economic governance is about the money in business, political governance is about making the rules, and administrative governance is about putting those rules into practice, and they all work together to keep a country running smoothly. Now let us proceed uh, from the characteristic of good governance. So, when it talks about good governance, again, it is the fair and effective management of a country's resources, institutions, and decision-making process. So, good governance ensure that the government work in the best interest of their people, and the political science studies governance by analyzing how power is exercised and how laws are enforced and how policies affect society. So, mm, I believe I provided um, I think 10 or 9 characteristic of good governance. Okay, so let us start from Okay, but before that, we still have another concept of participations. The Local Government Act of 1989 was born out of the need for decentralization in Philippine governance. So, as you all know, that this was created because there was a need to spread out the decision making in the Philippines. It's like giving more power to local areas. For example, uh, when we get decentralization, instead of having all decision made in one central place, this law was made to let local areas have more say in how things are run. It's like sharing the responsibility. Kibale, the captain can make the laws that is kanang kuan siya na pwede sila makabuhat og laws sa ilaha dito na areas. Okay, aside from that, as such, this and other related legislation may be considered as normative standard for good governance. So, pag may ngitag normative standard for good governance, this law, along with others related to it, set up guidelines or rules on how to run things well. So, it's like having a list of do's and don'ts to make sure that everyone is doing a good job in the rules. So, ang kaning Local Government Act of 1989 was created to give more power to local areas and decision-making, and laws like this one set the standard for how things should be done well in the government. So, of course, mabilong gihapon ni siya sa participation. Kung kibali, dili lang di siya na ang decision is from the upper or central place lang, or just like from the Spain, since kay um, isa ra ang mag-decide. But however, here in the Philippines, uh, we are given the opportunity to rule out or to make decision even in local areas. And of course, mas mapadali pa ang pag-address sa isa ka problem or unsay dapat i-address sa isa ka local areas or community. Next is rule of law. So, mayroon itang rule of law, it is a legal framework should be fair and enforced impartially. So, this means that the rules and law in a country should be fair and applied without favoritism. So, it's like playing a game where everyone follow the same rules and the referee enforce them fairly. Kibale, if naa kay sala, kung if you need to be punished, dapat mapunishan ka. Dili kay moingon na ayaw lang na siya ko anak kay ako man na siyang igsuon kay ako man na siyang anak, and so on and so forth. So we also have here democracy is essentially the rule of law. So democracy is a type of government where people have a say in making decisions. So in democracy, everyone including leaders must follow the rules or the law. So you can think of democracy as a system where the rule of law is crucial. Okay, a rule of law demands that the people and the civil society render habitual obedience to the law. So, pag mo yung ganitag, um, uh, a rule of law demand habitual obedience, this is saying that there is a saying that people and groups in society need to regularly and willingly follow the rules. It's like a good habit, always doing what the rules say, whether you're an individual or part of the community. So, in simple terms, the rule of law is about fair and consistent rules that everyone, including those in charge, must follow. In a democracy where people have a say, this become even more important. Following the rules become a habit for everyone in society. Also, rule of law also demand that the government acts within the limit of the power and function prescribed by law. Pag may the government act within limits, so the rule of law says that the government should only do what the laws allow. It's like having a set of rules that tell the government how much power it has, and it should stick to those rules. And rule of law, the Philippines does not fare well in this aspect of good governance. Mayroon kitag kuan, the Philippines ranking in the rule of law, unfortunately, in terms of following this rule, the Philippines doesn't do very well, even though it's one of the oldest democracies in the region. when compared to other Asian countries. So it's rank class gihapon. So in terms of, in spite of being one of the oldest democracies in the region, the Philippines rank as last among 7 index Asian countries according to the World Justice Project Rule of Laws Index. Pangingit lang, kaning si World Justice Project Rule of Law Index, mga kaning siya scoreboard that measure how well countries are following the rule of law. So, ibutang na to, naapata sa last among 7 index Asian. I am not sure if updated ba ni siya, na daw ta sa last among 7 index Asian countries. But then again, the Philippines scored lower than 6 other Asian countries, showing that there's room for improvement in how the government follows the rule because dili po ta makaingon no. But based on the observation that you have, that even though that the rule of law must be followed regarding even though that kung saang imong limits imong power nagi usahay that ma-overpower ka, yes, we need to improve that one. So in simple terms, the rule of law says that the government should stick to the rules set by the law. Unfortunately, despite being an old democracy, the Philippines, muna na akong giingon ganiha, na according to global measurement. And generally, okay, the reason for ranking last are lack of respect for law, pervasive and systemic corruptions in the government, and circumvention of the law. Kung yung ganing lack of respect for law, people not following the rules often happen because they don't believe that the law is fair or trustworthy. So if they think law enforcement doesn't act within integrity, they might not take the law seriously. Kay dili man sila motuo na the law is fair. We also have ang mga pervasive and systemic corruption. So when corruption is widespread and deeply rooted in the government, it means that some officials might be using their position for personal gain instead of doing what's right for everyone. Kung mayroon gani sa tag circumvention of the law, this means that finding ways to go around or bypass the law, like finding loopholes or shortcuts. So if people in official are trying to avoid the law instead of following it, it can lead to problem. So lack of respect for law is generally caused by distrust on the integrity of law enforcement agency. Pag mayong gitag distrust in law enforcement, if people don't trust the police or other law enforcement agency to be fair and just, they might not cooperate with them or believe in the legal system. So muna siya usually if you have noticed or observed that there are mga citizens or people na ay dili lang tumukan ay ang ending anak kay kita ra gyapon dihado because na tendency na may distrust on the integrity of law enforcement kay because of mga for example kaning corruption in government, circumvention of the law, putang na to kana siya may ng mga instances. So order and security are compromised and criminal justice is rendered ineffectual pag may gitag pag compromise and criminal justice, compromise order and security. So, when there is a lack of respect for the law and corruption, it can make the country less safe. Law and order might be compromised and people might not feel secure in their community. So, mayong giputag and effectual criminal justice if the legal system doesn't work well. Criminals might not be held accountable for their actions. This can lead to a breakdown in the justice system, where wrongdoers aren't appropriately punished. So in simple terms, when people don't trust the law or the people enforcing it, and when corruption is widespread, it can create problems, and this might make the country less safe, and the legal system might not effectively deal with criminals. The third characteristic is transparency. So, free flow of information. So, transparency as an indicator of good governance means that people are open to information regarding decision-making process and the implementation of the same. So, In legal terms, it means that information on matters of public concern are made available on the citizen or those who will be directly affected. So, it also means that the transaction involved public interest must be fully disclosed and made accessible to the people. Dili lang dapat siya na inyo-inyuhan lang. So, for example, if there is a concern with the public, so dapat ipakita gini sa public. So, the government must be open and honest about their decisions and how they use public funds. And transparency build trust between citizen and leaders. For example, the government that publish budget and financial report allow people to see how tax money is spent, preventing corruption. Para at least maingon din ang mga tao na asa rin pa daw akong tax. Okay, makita din nga ay okay, dire din na infrastructure, dire din na mga ang mga buildings na construct ang mga tax or dire din padulong akong tax na na contribute. Also, efforts were made in pursuit of transparency in Philippine governance. So, as far as the government sector is concerned, the current administration, consistent with its drive of curbing corruption, promote honesty and integrity in public service. So, we have here the next characteristic, uh, responsiveness. So, when it talks about responsiveness, this serve all stakeholder means that institution and processes serve all stakeholder in a timely and appropriate manner. It also means that actors and structures of government easily give genuine expression to the will or desire of the people. So some of the important efforts made to attain responsive governance in the Philippines are decentralization, the creation of citizen charters in all frontier agencies, as required by ARTA and gender sensitivity program. So, the responsiveness is first through decentralization, like the local government, anak ko, that which are more proximate to their constituents or more promptly to the people or promptly the people who in turn become more involved in decision making. The second one is every government agency now has its citizen charter, which provides time frame for every step in attaining the frontline services. And um, also, agencies now must also respond to written queries sent by the stakeholders or interested parties within a period of 10 days. Otherwise, there will be a delayed service. So it is really important to have to become responsive because a good government or good governance listen and act on the need of its citizen within a reasonable time frame. So it ensures that public services such as healthcare, education, transport are provided efficiently. So pag ganita ani say for example, the mga during disaster or pandemic, a responsive government provides emergency aid, medical support, and reliefs goods quickly to affected community. Well, however, this aspect of governance still remains to be one of the causes for the decline of public confidence in the public sector. Okay? Although the ARTA has been passed, there is still so much delay in public service delivery, and the failure of the government agencies to explain the charters to the stakeholder is one of the main reasons why there is still a delay. Now let us proceed. The fifth characteristic of good governance, like the consensus oriented, so mediate differing interests. So pamayon kita consensus oriented governance should focus on making decisions that benefit the majority while considering different viewpoints. So leaders should build agreement among groups with different interests. So example, in international relations, the UN or the United Nations bring the countries together to discuss climate change solution that benefit everyone despite their differences. Even gani sa klase, For example, if you have a certain disagreement, or even though that you have different ideologies, you should have you must be consensus oriented. Okay? A good governance, even though that there is a differing interest, you should uh, come together or bring together to discuss and what is the best solutions na inyuhang mahatag. Dili kay moingon lang kag ay ako'y mag-decide kay ako ang ani ako ang inana. It should be agreed by everyone. So you compromise, so you agreed what is the best decision or what is the best solution, and of course inyo sablantawon ang iyahang strength kung if this solutions or if this resolution will be made, what would be the consequences para of course dili mag-blame no kay it is a consensus oriented man, so the decision is made by everyone, so walay dapat mahayan because even though the differences or despite the differences that you have, you were able to come up with one solution or one ideas or concept. Okay, next is the equity and inclusiveness. So all have opportunities to improve or maintain their well-being, or in the other hand, all individual regardless of gender, age, social class, or ethnicity must have equal access to opportunity and resources. So, examples for that is countries that promote gender equality by ensuring that both men and women have equal opportunities in educations and employment to create a more inclusive society. And of course, even sa imong kon klasa, even gani if you have exceptionality or non-exceptionality, so tanan gihapon na opportunity to work. Regardless of um unsa pa man gani ng kakulangon sa imuha, dapat naatay equity and inclusiveness para dili lang siya ingon na kay ikaw ra may na inani, so ikaw lang na opportunity. So, good governance should have equity and inclusiveness. Next is effectiveness and efficiency. So, when it talks about effectiveness and efficiency, this produce results that meet the needs while making the best use of resources. So, the actors meet the need of the society means that there is an effective governance. So, when yung gitag effectiveness and efficiency, um, dili nahitabo like um the government must use resources wisely to achieve the best results. So, for example, the public services like healthcare, education, infrastructure should be delivered without waste or delays. For example, we have the countries like the Singapore are known for their efficient public transport system, so which reduces traffic and help the economy grow. So isa na siya sa mga class na example of good governance. Also, that the valuable resources are utilized without wasting o muna ni siya or underutilizing any of them means that there is an efficient governance. So, enhancement and standardization of the quality of public service delivery consistent with international standard and professionalization of bureaucracy. Well, the efforts were made to attain effectiveness and efficiency in the Philippine governance. So, kaning ORTA or the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007, for instance, was passed to require the setting up of citizen charter for simplified procedure and to facilitate governmental transactions. So, also, many government department and agencies pursued a rationalization program to check excessive and redundant staffing. And the last one, but not the least, accountability. So, accountable to the public. Pamayong gitag accountability, the leaders must be responsible for their actions and decisions. So, if officials misuse their power, they should face consequences. So, say for example, unsa ilang misuse, they misuse a certain government fund, they can be investigated by COA. Unsa din ang COA? COA is no commission on audit and say for example, if it is proven that you misuse a certain fund, na tendency that you can be removed from office if found guilty. Yes, why is good governance is important? Of course, the governance, the people, most especially the citizen, will be aware of the need for good government. Consequently, such awareness should move them to action. Kay ano man, good governance is important because it can prevent corruption. It ensures public funds are used for the people, not for personal gain. It promotes economic growth. So a well-governed countries attract investor and create jobs and develop infrastructure. So, uh, good governance ensure justice and fairness. Good governance builds trust in government, so citizens are more likely to follow laws and support leaders who govern fairly. So, good governance is essential in political science because it determines how well a country functions and affects the lives of its people. Without good governance, societies may experience poverty, inequality, and political instability. Of course, um, this is the end of my discussion. So, um, if you have any more questions or if you have violent reaction, you can message me uh, or talk to me in person so that I can address your confusion about the topic. I think that would be all for this afternoon.